Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 8 of Walking with Jay. Well, tonight I'm on my own again. It's a beautiful day here in sunny St. George, Utah. Temperature actually cooled down a little bit today. I think it was in the 70s or 80s instead of the 90s. Ridiculous temperatures that it tends to get down here in St. George. Let's see, what's on my agenda to talk about today? Well, I think first and foremost, one of the things that I'd like to talk about is mental health recovery. Surprise, surprise, surprise. No, it's near and dear to my heart, all this mental health recovery business. One of the my diagnosis is that I have bipolar 1 disorder in remission. That's a power of language right there I wanted to talk about, because just when about a year ago, my doctor told me that he gave me the paperwork on my diagnosis and everything and said that I had bipolar 1 disorder in remission. Now, the strange thing about that is, up to this point, I'd never heard that term. I've heard it, of course, with cancer and things like that, but never ever did I hear about bipolar disorder being in remission. And so, hi guys. So, one of the things that stands out to me about that term was how much hope that actually gave me for recovery. When he wrote that down, I actually took that back to my clubhouse where I work, and I told my peers that, and they were all stunned. They'd never heard of their mental illnesses being able to be in remission. And so I thought that's really kind of sad that gosh, I'm not thinking too clearly tonight. You'll have to forgive me. But it's kind of sad that was such a surprise to all of us. But for me, it was really something that made me feel like I had hope for the future, because no longer was I just saddled with this incurable disease called bipolar disorder, which, hey, I'm not cured of it. Remission doesn't mean cured. It just means that I'm no longer experiencing the symptoms of it, is what I found later. But at the time, it was synonymous with being cured. And I think just that misinterpretation of the word there for just a brief moment was enough to get this wedge of hope inside of me. And just enough to let the light in to say, hey, you know what? This is something that I can conquer. And so I don't know if you'll notice on any of my Facebook posts and Twitter posts, sometimes I'll put hashtag beating bipolar, because that's really what I want to do. Is I really want to put this behind me in a sense, but in another sense I don't want to put it behind me, because it's opened so many doors for me in helping other people. And so that's my hashtag, embracing bipolar. So you take the good with the bad, and you take them all, and there you have the facts of life. Anyway, what else was I saying? Oh yeah, just a weird thing about bipolar disorder is, like, what we pathologize as a symptom necessarily. Even in the DSM-5, which is the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, which therapists and doctors use to diagnose people, one of the symptoms of bipolar mania is increased goal-directed behavior. And I don't know, that kind of shut me down once. I was like, oh man, I'm not going to have any new goals because I don't want bipolar disorder. I don't want to be manic. But yeah, and so sometimes the things that I used to associate, even in high school and stuff, in the Navy and whatnot, as feeling good and feeling empowered and just feeling myself, all of a sudden now these things are warning signs of bipolar mania, and you got to avoid them or else you're going to end up in the hospital. And that's, I'll be honest with you, that's kind of a crappy way to live. I don't really like living like that. So I've discovered that it's okay for me to increase my goal directed behavior, and it's okay for me to be gregarious and outgoing, and it's okay for me to experience heightened sense of energy, so, but the real scary part of it always is it going to go over the line to where I'm end up in the hospital again? And I really don't want to do that, because guess what? Hospitals aren't cheap. And believe it or not, I'm a social worker, my wife's a school teacher. We have a hard time affording hospital stays. So anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about tonight, other than just sharing kind of my experience again with you. See, I went to Toastmasters for a little while, and they would have honked a horn every time you say something like or so I kind of need a Toastmasters horn honker here to help me out. Okay, so maybe that's all I want to talk about. Yeah, but so here lately in my recovery, I've been really trying to push myself to get out of my comfort zone a little bit. This is the first time since back in 2+ years where I felt comfortable reaching out to people and trying to expand my network of friends and associates and things like that. Just because I have so many negative associations, I cannot talk tonight, but that's okay. You forgive the J-Man, right? I have so many negative associations. I really cannot talk tonight. Negative associations with the heightened, elated mood, So I still have to keep an eye on it. I know that. One of the things that has accompanied all 3 of my manic episodes has been either a medication or a vitamin supplement or a combination of those, which kind of triggered me into a manic episode. And so I really am having to be really careful about what I put in my body. So all of you people who want to recommend nutritional supplements for me to try to help with my bipolar disorder, not going to do it. Just not worth it to me. So I'm working right now on my nutrition. That's part of my habit stack. Today, I've told you guys about habit stacking a little bit. What it is I've been on this thing where I take one habit. The first thing was doing a relaxation response exercise, and then the next day you add another habit to that, and then the next day you add another habit to that, so on and so forth until you've stacked up a whole bunch of habits. And then they tumble and fall like a Jenga stack or a stack of, we used to build card houses. And if you put too many cards up there, it would just fall. And the reason I'm doing this exercise really is just to build resiliency and the ability to bounce back when things fall apart. I should be really good at resiliency right now. I should be really squared away in that department. Anywho, so I was talking about, one of the symptoms, I guess, of bipolar disorder is tangential thinking, or pressured thinking is another way of saying it, I guess, but they're different. But tangential thinking is like you go from one topic to another topic to another topic. I think I got that from my dad. He does that a lot. He'll bounce around a bit. Love you, Dad. Hope you get to see this episode. What else? What were we bouncing to? I don't even know anymore. And that's what happens. So the neat thing that I have with this show is that in the future, maybe I'll be able to take all 130 shows that I make, or however many I make, and splice them together to make one coherent 3-minute show. Wouldn't that be great? 3 minutes of non-babbling from the J-Man. I call myself the J-Man. No, I'm not going to go there. Good movie though. The J-Man. What movie is that? Envy. Check it out with, gosh, my brain's not working tonight. Okay. Jack Black, Ben Stiller, the J-Man. Who played the J-Man? Christopher Walken. That's right. This one's for Stacy. So, yeah, what are we talking about? Oh yeah, just knowing the difference between a symptom, a pathologized symptom, and just feeling good and normal, and sometimes it's hard to tell. I'm lucky that I have a great support group and support system around me to help me when I'm experiencing some of those early warning signs and things like that. I've got a lot of friends and family members who keep their eye on me, and I guess that's kind of the reason that I'm doing this Walking with Jay too, is just that if anybody wants to know how I'm doing, they can just check into my YouTube channel and check in and see how I'm doing, see if I need any extra support or anything like that. So there's that side of it. There's two sides of it really, as far as having a social support group, people who support you when you're down. And it's good to have people that you can trust and rely to take over when you can't make good decisions for yourself, which I've done on several occasions. And the problem with that is that I often, when I am not making good decisions, and I'm speaking specifically about those 3 times when I was hospitalized, I didn't feel like I was out of control. And so that's kind of the problem. So just something that we'll have to work out in the future. So what else was I saying? Oh, I don't know. Oh, 2 sides to the coin. Social support is having people there for you when you need them. And then the other side of it, which I really try to do a lot, and I do, it's my job, it's how I make a living, is acts of service to others. So you have people that support you, but then on the other side of the coin, you have to be willing to provide service for other people. I am out of breath. Yeah, and I like to do that. I like to help other people out. I like to spend a good part of my time just helping people share their problems with me, and I don't necessarily always try to solve them or always try to provide an answer for them, but I'm always a good ear. I like to listen, and I like to show empathy for people. So actually, empathy, I did a Strength Finders test once. It's from a book. My old supervisor, Ryan Forbes, hi Ryan, love you, man. He had us all take a Strength Finders test, and empathy was actually my number one strength. So hey, go figure. I feel your pain, dude. So I don't know, I feel like I've kind of rambled enough tonight. Beautiful sunset. Check it out. J.J. Abrams lens flare there. Nice. So yeah, I'll just touch base a little more on my habit stacking, some of the things I've been doing. Doing pretty good. Trying to eat a couple more pieces of fruit a day. Do my walking, of course. Prayer, super important for me to do prayer. And I do the relaxation response exercise, and I learned that in my training at Elevate. And what the relaxation response exercise is you take a word or a phrase and you just think about it and repeat it over and over again as you're breathing. And then, so repetition is the first part of the exercise. And the second part of the exercise is exactly like that, not exactly like that, is when you get distracted, which we always do. Gosh, I gotta stop saying When you get distracted in your repetition, the next part of it is to return. So you return to your repetition. So you just acknowledge that you got distracted, that's nice, and then return to the repetition. And the objective isn't to be perfectly able to stay focused, but the objective is that when you lose focus, that you're able to return. And that's when you've got a racing mind like I do, hey, even when I'm not manic, my mind goes very quickly sometimes. And so when you got a mind that bounces from thought to thought and idea to idea, it's nice to be able to return. And hopefully I'll be able to do that in these Walking with Jay, learn how to stay on point and stay on target with what we're talking about. So yeah, that's a relaxation response exercise. Pretty cool thing. Really calms you down and allows you to, it's almost kind of a meditation, I guess. So I've got that. What else have I been doing? Washing some dishes every day. Trying to chip in a little more around the house. That's been good. Trying to get in bed by 10 o'clock. Now I get to bed by 10. I don't always go right to sleep at 10 because I'm not tired, but just being able to get into bed and to say, hey, I'm done with most of the stuff that I got to do, that's been a real blessing for me. But I've been reading a proverb every day. That's really great stuff because that gives you some roadmap to living. The book of Proverbs in the Bible is lined up, so there's 30 chapters. Anyway, Psalms 30. Is there 30 or 31? Anyway, it lines right up with the days. So, what's today? I don't even know what the date is. But say if it's the 5th or the 6th, you would read the 5th proverb or the 6th proverb. So, just a little habit I'm trying to employ. I get a lot of comfort out of reading the Bible sometimes. And what else have I been doing? I don't know. That's my habit stack. I'm still working on it. Got a little support group on Facebook who are giving me support and who I'm trying to support. And we call that mutual support, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is longer than I've walked in a while, so that's a good deal. I'm going to go ahead and shut her down and just want to thank you guys for taking the time. If you have taken the time, if you haven't, I don't want to hear about it. Just kidding. But I do thank you for your time and your attention. And if you like what you're hearing, go ahead and subscribe. And that way you'll be able to be notified when new things come your way. New Walking with Jay, which they happen every day, so I guess you don't need to subscribe. Forget it. Don't even subscribe. Doesn't matter. But yeah, it helps when I get a few likes here and there, a thumbs up or whatnot, a couple of comments. Hey Jay, good job. That makes me feel happy. Keeps me moving on and moving forward. So everybody needs encouragement, So all right, I love you guys. Thank you so much for just hanging out with me tonight, and take care. We'll see you soon.